South Korea is going through an emergency situation. Fans are worried for the BTS members who are currently in the military. Jungkook's hairdresser becomes emotional. BTS's producer opens up, and more news. Watch till the end to find out more. South Korea is going through an emergency situation that could impact the BTS members. President Yoon Suk-yeol of South Korea said he needed to declare a special rule called emergency martial law because the opposition group in the government was causing big problems by going against the state. In a speech on TV, President Yoon explained that this rule is needed to stop any support for North Korea and to keep the country running fairly and freely according to its laws. This action came right after the opposition party, called the Democratic Party of Korea, DPK, decided on a much smaller amount of money for the country's budget than expected and started trying to remove important officials like the state auditor and the chief prosecutor from their jobs. President Yoon thinks these actions are a big threat to how well he can manage the country. President Yoon said that declaring martial law is a way to fix and protect the country during tough times. He admitted that this might make things a bit difficult for people every day, but he promised that the government would work fast to get things back to normal and keep up with their responsibilities to other countries. Since he became president in May 2022, President Yoon pointed out that his team has been challenged 22 times with attempts to remove them from office by the opposition. He said that the current situation is very unusual, not just in South Korea, but in the whole world, and it's making it hard for the government to do its job. President Yoon specifically criticized the smaller budget because it could lead to less effective control of crimes and make the country unsafe. He accused the DPK of using these budget cuts and their attempts to remove officials as a way to protect their leader, Lee Jae-myung, who is facing several legal issues. President Yoon also criticized the opposition for turning the National Assembly, which is supposed to make laws, into a place where criminals are protected. This, he said, stops the court and government from working properly and risks the freedom of the country's political system, which he called a legislative dictatorship. According to the laws of South Korea, the president can declare martial law during wars, emergencies, or when public safety needs it. This declaration can limit certain freedoms, like the freedom of the press, the freedom to gather, and how the government and courts operate. After President Yoon announced this rule, the DPK quickly called its members to a very important meeting at the National Assembly. The Korean National Assembly intervened to save South Korea. President Yoon Suk-yeol had to stop the martial law that he had just set up a few hours before. This quick change happened because the National Assembly, which is a group of people who make laws in South Korea, all voted for the martial law to be ended. President Yoon told everyone about his decision early in the morning, right after the assembly made up their minds. This meant that the soldiers who were brought in to help enforce the martial law had to go back to their normal duties. Fans are worried for the BTS members. This hasn't happened in South Korea in over 40 years. President Yoon Suk-yeol made this decision suddenly, and it led to a lot of upset people and protests. The government and the people quickly pushed back against this martial law, and it was ended just as fast as it started. During this unstable time, people weren't just worried about the country's troubles. Fans of BTS were also concerned. Right now, 5 members of BTS are doing their required military service. Fans were really worried and talked about their fears on social media. They were scared that the martial law might mess up how the military works, which could make things unsafe or really difficult for the BTS members. Right now, Suga is doing a different kind of service by working in social work since September 2023, while the rest of the BTS members started their military service in December 2023 and will finish in June 2025. V is even part of a special group in the Military Police Corps' Special Task Force. The quick start and stop of martial law made fans even more worried and uncertain about what might happen to these members. Fans shared a lot of feelings online during this time. One tweet showed how some fans thought the BTS members could end up in tricky situations because of the martial law, while another tweet hoped for their safety and for things in South Korea to get better. Jin is celebrating his birthday. On December 4th, fans all over the world got really excited to celebrate the 32nd birthday of Jin. They used hashtags on the social media site X to show how much they care. Jin was born on December 4th, 1992. Fans hoped Jin would spend his birthday having a great time and being with his family and friends. They sent him messages that showed they really care about him and think he's a very special person who makes their lives better. People also discussed the personal impact Jin has had on their lives. For example, one fan expressed their joy over Jin's return, wishing him a happy birthday and hoping he would enjoy his day resting with his family. Another fan conveyed their birthday wishes by reflecting on the lessons Jin taught them about resilience, self-worth, and pacing oneself in life. All day, the many sweet messages showed how much Jin means to his fans and the special place he holds in their hearts. They really think he's someone who brings happiness and inspiration to their lives. Jin confesses he is lonely. Recently, BTS Jin has been pretty busy doing things on his own, and he shared some of his experiences in a video on Spotify's K-pop On YouTube channel. The video showed Jin at a place called the Happy House, and it was released just before his very first solo album, Happy, came out. In the video, Jin talked about how lonely it feels to do things by himself, things that he used to do with the other BTS members. He said that simple activities like eating meals or doing daily tasks feel very different and lonely without his friends from the band. He talked about how it's a big change to be on his own for these activities, especially since he was so used to having his bandmates around all the time. Jin's new album, Happy, was released 2 days after he appeared on Spotify's K-pop On Hub. On November 13th, in one of the episodes, Jin did a dice challenge, where he showed how well he could speak different languages like Korean, English, Indonesian, Japanese, and Spanish. In the same episode, Jin also tried some snacks from Indonesia, showing how his music and activities reach people all over the world. On November 22nd, another video was put out where Jin tried doing several popular dance moves from recent viral songs by other artists like aespa and Stray Kids. He also mentioned that one of his favorite songs is a duet between Blackpink's Rose and Bruno Mars. Besides all the fun and challenges, Jin also shared some personal thoughts. He said that his happiest moments are still the ones he spends performing at concerts with BTS. These videos help promote his new album and let fans see more about what he thinks and feels as he starts doing more things by himself. This helps fans feel closer to Jin and understand him better as he takes on his solo career. A rare glimpse of Jungkook from behind the scenes. On December 3rd, Disney Plus released a new, longer documentary series called Jungkook, I Am Still the Original. This series adds more to an earlier movie of the same name that first came out in September. The series now has 3 episodes that give fans a closer look into how Jungkook creates his music. It includes new interviews and behind-the-scenes clips from when he made his song Golden, and it also shows him working with the famous singer Usher. This longer version adds about 55 minutes more to watch, which includes some performances that weren't in the first movie. It also shows the full event, which happened in November. During this event, Jungkook performed several songs from his album. The first movie, Jungkook, I Am Still the Original, was a big hit earlier this year. This set a new record for films about K-pop solo artists in Japan, and was the most successful among all Korean movies shown there this year. Jungkook's departure caused his hairdresser to become emotional. The new behind-the-scenes video on Disney Plus also shows a very touching moment between Jungkook and his hairdresser, Naeju, who has been cutting his hair for over 10 years. This clip gives us a peek at a really special time as Jungkook gets ready for a big change in his life. The video starts with Jungkook getting a haircut from Naeju before he has to join the military. While Naeju is cutting his hair, he starts talking about all the fun and memorable times they've had together over the last year. It's a quiet and emotional moment that really shows how close they are. Jungkook, now with a much shorter haircut, talks about how this new hairstyle will be so much easier to take care of, especially when it comes to washing it. But the mood shifts to a more serious one when Naeju gets really emotional about the whole situation. When Naeju is done cutting his hair, he brushes off all the extra hair from Jungkook's face and head. Both of them try hard not to cry. The scene ends with Jungkook giving Naeju a big, comforting hug, showing just how deep their friendship is. They end the haircut on a happy note, talking about how cool Jungkook's new haircut looks and how well it turned out. This moment isn't just about a hairdresser and his client. It's about 2 friends who have a lot of respect and care for each other. This behind-the-scenes look into Jungkook's life shows us the personal and emotional steps he's taking as he gets ready for a new chapter in his life. Jungkook considered changing his stage name. The Disney Plus series has 3 parts and lets fans see more about Jungkook's work, including practice sessions and some special moments that weren't shown in the original movie. In one part of the series, there's a big reveal about why the name Ian is so important to BTS fans. Ian was the name Jungkook used on his private TikTok account, and he even thought about using it as his stage name. There's a really interesting part in the documentary where Jungkook is getting ready to perform a song called Standing Next to You. While he's preparing, he talks to a choreographer named Ian Eastwood. Ian has been a big inspiration to Jungkook, and he praises Jungkook for how well he dances and how hard he works. You can really see how much they respect and admire each other, which shows how much Ian has helped Jungkook grow as an artist. Jungkook explains that he liked Ian's dance moves so much when he was younger that he thought about using Ian as his own stage name to show how much he looked up to him. This documentary does more than just show us Jungkook practicing and performing. It also gives us a peek at the special relationships and people who have helped him along the way. The story between Jungkook and his choreographer shows us how teachers and mentors can have a big impact on someone's career, teaching us about the strong connections that can form in the world of music and dance. Jungkook reveals his honest feelings about the military. In December 2023, Jungkook and Jimin started their required military service, which was a big deal for both the band and their fans. Even though Jungkook and Jimin are not around, fans still feel connected to them because there's a lot of new videos and music being released. During the making of a music video for the song Standing Next to You with the singer Usher, Jungkook told everyone that he would be joining the military on December 12th. There's a part in the film where a dancer asks Jungkook how he feels about going to the military soon. Jungkook just said no when asked if he was sad, and then said no again, but in a different way when asked if he was happy. This got a lot of people talking online because the way he said it was really interesting. It showed that Jungkook was trying to stay calm even though it was a big change in his life. The way Jungkook answered the questions made people talk a lot about how even small changes in how someone talks can show a lot of feelings. This part of the film helps fans see the personal challenges Jungkook is facing and keeps them feeling close to BTS, even though the members are doing their military service and not performing right now. BTS's producer opens up about Jungkook. This Disney Plus show also takes fans on a deep dive into how Jungkook made his first solo album called Golden. Fans get to see about 55 extra minutes of footage that wasn't in the original movie, showing more about how the album was put together. In the show, Big Hit Music's record producer, P-Dog, talks a lot about how talented Jungkook is, especially when it comes to singing and understanding music quickly. P-Dog thinks Jungkook is a genius because he can catch on to the main parts of a song really fast and make it his own. P-Dog says that Jungkook is what today's pop music is all about, even calling him the embodiment of pop music. The show also includes thoughts from Big Hit Music's choreographer, who agrees with P-Dog and says Jungkook is a genius. The choreographer shares that Jungkook works incredibly hard, often being the last one to leave rehearsals. He spends a lot of extra time working on his moves for both his solo performances and the group's songs. His dedication to getting everything just right is shown as something really special. Jungkook himself talks about his own experiences with dance. He mentions that he didn't start out focused on any specific type of dance or have his own unique dance style. He shares how starting with choreography was a challenge because he felt he wasn't getting better or worse at first. But as he kept at it, he realized he was learning a lot without even noticing it, which helped him grow as a performer without being stuck in one style. The docuseries not only gives us a behind-the-scenes look with interviews and clips that fans haven't seen before, but it also shows the entire Golden live stage performance. This close look at Jungkook's work and growth tells an inspiring story of his talent, hard work, and how he discovered more about himself. It helps fans feel even closer to him and understand more about the artist behind the music. Jungkook reveals how he changed over the years. In the series, Jungkook also talks about how he learned to dance and make music. He explains that he didn't start out learning any particular type of dance. Instead, he just started